That's the limit of my discretion, because this is now a mandatory prison sentence. So you're going to prison today. What is it going to be?
Ms. Manning's first foray into the criminal justice system. I think this is her most serious involvement. We will defer to the court.
This is a crucial moment. The judge makes it clear this is a mandatory prison sentence. That means no probation, no alternative, only deciding how many years within the legal range.
As to the amount of time the court deems is appropriate, she does seem to have extensive contacts, even while she has been incarcerated, with individuals who themselves are interconnected in the criminal justice system. We'd ask the court to consider that. She has 91 days of jail time credit. There is no reimbursement requested.
Anything from probation?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Diefenbach.
Judge, I did read her statement, and she gave you a really accurate accounting of her life. Her mother died when she was like 14, 15 years old, and she had absolutely nobody looking after her. Through her father, she became involved with this man who's twice her age, and he still is in her life. And I will admit, she knows a lot of people that prosecutor finds offensive. However, she grew up in High Point, which is a neighborhood that I think everybody in this little subdivision's got a record. This is all she knows. From the time she was 15 years old, these are the kind of people that she associated with. So I imagine they're still in her life, and I think that's obvious. And Jason Norton keeps popping up, although I think he's incarcerated again. Since I've been visiting her, and she has cleaned herself up, and she hasn't been on any drugs, which are quite available. I know this just from my own clients, other clients. And we've talked about the fact that she was going to go to Marysville, and we talked about what she could do when she went to Marysville. And one of the things I wanted her to do was finish and get her GED. And they have a dog program up there, and she is amazing with dogs. She's had several of her own, and she has trained them, and she's trained other people's dogs. She really is. She's got a skill. If she could just get away from these people that she's been growing up with since she was like 15 years old, she'd probably be in a lot better situation than we are today. And I'd really like you to consider giving her minimum time.
Ms. Manning, anything you want me to know?
I understand I was wrong, and no.
What's it going to take to get your attention, to get you to stop hanging around, if it's the people you're hanging around with, or what's it going to take?
I just haven't had no support or family, and they're just all I really knew, or like anywhere I had to really go, because I got taken away and I was in the system, and I just didn't really have nobody.
Well, when you turn to people, is Jason Norton, is he incarcerated now?
I don't know. That's what Roxanne said, but I don't know.
Do you believe that he is?
If it happened recently, he gets incarcerated a lot.
Well, when you hang around with people that are doing drugs and breaking the law and in and out of jail, in and out of prison, this is what ends up happening. Now you found yourself in a situation where the only discretion I have is picking a number between 2 and 8. That's the limit of my discretion, because this is now a mandatory prison sentence. So you're going.
You can hear the pain in her story. No family, no support, just survival mode since childhood. But the judge isn't letting that overshadow accountability. He's asking the real question. When does it stop?
Going to prison today. What is it going to be enough? I'm trying to find out what makes you tick so that you don't keep coming back. I mean, your record's horrible. You're not even that old. I get the upbringing, but at some point in time, you yourself have to make a decision and understand that when you make a decision, there's consequences. So if you make a good decision, there's good consequences. You make bad decisions, now you see what the bad decision, the consequences of that are. I mean, if this is the life you want, that's fine, and we can just keep doing this over and over, keep sending you to prison. If this is the life you want, you have 4 kids, all with Mr. Norton?
Yeah.
One of them's adopted out. Who has custody of the other 3?
His family.
His family.
For kids, no custody, years of bad decisions. now facing prison again. Be honest. Do you think this sentence will finally change your life, or is this cycle too deep to break?
These kids don't stand a chance. I mean, is this the life that you want for your kids?
No.
At what point in time are you going to step up and break this cycle?
I'm ready. I'm sorry, it took me coming to where I'm at to be ready, but like I said, I'm embarrassed that it took me so long to realize what's really going on in my life and where I'm going, and now that I'm almost 28 years old, but I plan to change and do better and learn from this.
Has Hamilton County's cases been resolved?
There's a warrant for a probation violation. Yeah, she did 2 years. Was it a 3-year probationary period?
Yeah, they told me I was eligible to file for my motion, but I paid off my fines and then
Yeah.
lost the house.
Yeah, we paid off her fines, and then this happened. But she did well until Jason got out of the penitentiary for about 2 years, and that because he was locked up on another case, not the case that she was on, a total different case. And I followed him to find out where he was.
All right, courts considered the statements made here today, the pre-sentence investigation of the purposes and the principles of sentencing, the relevant seriousness and recidivism factors. You have not been to prison before, correct?
Never.
All right. Court will order you to serve a minimum term sentence on count 2 of 2 years in prison, maximum term sentence of 3 years. That is a mandatory prison sentence. The court is also going to order when you're not in jail, where do you live?
I haven't really had a stable place since I lost my house.
All right. All right, the court's going to order you to serve on count 3, 12 months. That to be served consecutive to count 2 for a total of 3 to 4 years. The 2 years is mandatory.
And there it is, 3 to 4 years. Not just a sentence. This is a turning point. The judge is sending a message loud and clear. Your past brought you here, but what you do next will decide if you ever come back.
12 months is not mandatory. You have 91 days jail time credit. The court finds that you're indigent for the purpose of any fines, costs, or other financial sanctions, including the mandatory fine of $7,500. You're also subject to a mandatory period of post-release control, which means if you serve out your sentence, the adult parole authority will supervise you for no less than 18 months nor more than 3 years. If your violation is that you commit another felony, you can be returned to prison for 1 year or the period that you have left on PRC, whichever is longer. That time would run consecutive to any additional prison time that you get sentenced to. The court does find that the consecutive sentence is necessary to punish this defendant. It is not disproportionate to the conduct or danger posed by the defendant, and your criminal history demonstrates that the consecutive sentence is necessary. Now, because a portion of this is not mandatory, you are eligible on that 12 months to receive up to 1 day per month for participating in certain education, vocation, or other programs sponsored by the Department of Corrections. I'm going to leave you with this. Well, first off, you have a right to appeal the court's decision of your sentence to the 12th District Court of Appeals. If you want to appeal, you must file your notice of appeal within 30 days of today's date. If you can't afford to pay for the transcript or anything necessary for your appeal, that can all be provided to you at no cost. If you cannot afford an attorney, I will appoint one for you at no cost.
Your Honor, you need to give the Reagan-Tokes language for the indefinite sentence.
I did at her plea.
I think you have to do it as a part of sentencing as well. I agree, you gave it at the plea. That's correct. But I think you have to do it again upon the imposition of the sentence.
All right, she's not eligible for the good time credit of 5 to 15%. You'll be released when you finish your minimum term sentence unless the Department of Corrections determines that you must remain in prison for bad conduct. The court is not involved in that decision. If you're not released when your minimum term ends, you will serve an additional specified period of time and given a new release date. Now, after you've served your 2 years, the court will consider a motion for judicial release on the non-mandatory prison time, which means that this court will then supervise you. So if you have no violations and you follow the rules of the institution.
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Tiefenbach.
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Manning, best of luck to you. Hope this works.
Yeah, I'm gonna see you tomorrow. I will, I'll tell you tomorrow. Thank you.
What's our next
I'll come see you tomorrow.